Okay, so today we'll speak about the fact that AI has no imagination center. Now, what does this mean? But we also understand that we are moving away from artificial intelligence to artificial imagination, and that essentially just means that you use AI as a co-creator. And what does that mean? What AI does essentially is makes you free to kind of process data, right, beyond a certain point, because all the data in the world is being processed, at least the data which is there on the internet. And a lot of this has already been done by Internet of Things. For example, Internet of Things told you that all the data that Apple and all of these devices are collecting, they can now tell you that, okay, what do you eat, what is there in your fridge, and what is happening in your bank account, right? So very disparate data points are now connected. Similarly, what a ChatGPT does is bases a good question, it gives you a great answer, at least on a data set part of it. But what you have to understand is, and of course, then there are imagination tools like Midjourney, and there is Music ML and all of that, right? So it's a great co-creator, but how do you kind of use it? You have to understand that it has no insight, that it is just a pattern recognition methodology as of right now. It can look at all the patterns in the world, and it can recognize it, but it cannot derive any meaning out of it. It doesn't have any insight on basis that, and that is where the human quest becomes more interesting. And whatever you thought was creative or imagination in the past, you will have to go on a higher order version of it, because imagination would most of our imagination is sum total of the ideas that we know, and we kind of put it together in non-linear format. But you will have to, now that you have been freed, that you have been given time and your task has been done by a machine, the free time is for you to indulge into your creativity, your intuition, and deeper realms of your own consciousness. And what that essentially does is it forces you to look at pure play, or what you call pure intelligence, right? So your creativity has to be higher order by default. It has to be deeper by default. It can't just be a bunch of ideas that already exist and make a whole out of it, or a new originality out of it. It has to come from you, because now you have the time and the space to do it, and that is what artificial imagination is. It's a co-creator, and as a human, your quest is to think deeper, be deeper, and solve hard problems. And all hard problems are creative. They are lack of thought from a certain perspective, or lack of courage or insight based on what you've already lived in your own life and through people who have lived around you. So all of this is interesting, right? And suddenly you're free to be more human, and that in itself kind of is an ode to what technology can do in terms of taking a civilization forward. So you're moving away from artificial intelligence to artificial imagination, because now you have the time and the space to be a more whole human being, and you can use all these softer, intangible skills that you have, because you're not so stuck in roti kapda makan, or the basics, right? Or the tangibles. So how do you exist in intangibles? That's the quest, and that is a really beautiful quest, right? So tell me, what do you think about it? I would really like to know artificial intelligence to artificial imagination. Thank you.